Good evening, Michigan City. This is the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission meeting for Monday, March 14th, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to do a roll call very quickly. Angie Nelson Deitch.
Present.
Kathy Dennis.
Present.
John Hendricks.
Here.
Tom Domkowski.
Present.
And Ken Barrett.
Here.
And the chair, Chris Chatfield, is also present, all unaccounted for. And so we will move to the next agenda item. Approval of minutes from the 224 executive session, which was Zoom, and the Zoom regular meeting. Could I get any corrections, deletions, or additions to that, to either one of those meeting minutes?
No, I move for adoption.
I second that.
Having a first and a second, would I'll go through I think we still have to go through.
It's hybrid.
Yeah, still. So, yeah. So, Angie Nelson Deitch,
Aye.
Kathy Dennis,
Aye.
John Hendricks,
Aye.
Ken Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. All in favor. We have approved the minutes from the executive and Zoom meeting, regular meeting from 2/24/22. Approval of claims, March 14th, 2022. Skylar York, please.
Thank you. This is approval of claims for March 14th, 2022. For payroll, we had January 2022 CDBG reimbursables, and we also had staff and commissioners. We had operating fund for the Great American Financial for March to 2022 copier fees. We have Saranac Law Offices for a monthly retainer for February of 2022. From the North TIF Fund, we have August Mack for TC Properties, Begley Concord, 1/10/22 to 2/6/22. August Mack for redevelopment plan for 12/13/2021 to 1/23/22. We have Baker Tilly for professional service in the East TIF. We have Baker Tilly for professional service in the North TIF. Barnes Thornburg for legal services in the North TIF. Barnes Thornburg for legal services in the South TIF. Barnes Thornburg for legal services regarding Boxen. We have Butler, Fairman, Seifert for Singing Sands Phase 2 inspections. Department of Waterworks for utilities at 1215 East 2nd Street. Neighborhood Capital for 11th Street Central RFP for February 2022. Neighborhood Capital for Development Advisory Services for February of 2022 in overages. NIPSCO Utilities for 1215 East 2nd Street. PR's Lawn Care Service for snow removal, various RC-owned properties in the North TIF. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the East TIF for 2022. Saranac Law Office for legal services in the North TIF, February of 2022. Wallach Summers Haas for legal services for the You Are Beautiful site for January and February of 2022. Wallach Summers and Haas for legal services in general, January 2022. Wallach Summers and Haas for legal services on 8th Street, January and February for 2022. Wallach Summers and Haas for legal services at Transit Center for February of 2022. From the South TIF Fund, we had Haas and Associates for South TIF connectivity improvement projects from 2/7/22 to 2/20/22. And Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the South TIF for February of 2022.
Move we approve as presented.
Second.
President, if I can make a quick comment.
Please.
With regards to the legal services for the transit center, I know no decision has been made and we're probably several months away, if any, for a decision with respect to bonding, if and when it were to occur, will not occur for several more months. One of the eligible costs for reimbursement on any kind of bonding issue are attorney fees. And I've talked with Adam Collins, who has been our representative from Wallach Summers and Haas, with respect to deferring any costs for the transit services, either pay them now as we have been, but given the fact that we've done a lot more work, and he has done a lot more work on the transit center in the last month or so, and we'll continue to do a lot more services between now and the end of this month. He is in agreement with deferring those costs. At this point, if it turns up we do end up having a bond issue, we could roll those costs in there at that time. If we don't end up going with a bonding issue, we can just reimburse Adam several months down the line, whenever from the decision's been made with respect to that. Or the third thing is we could just pay him for these now out of the North TIF account and proceed accordingly. So those are three options that are available to the commission. I just want to bring that to your attention.
I have a comment. Chair. Oh.
Yeah, please.
I would say that I prefer that we pay now. Only reason why I'm saying that the services are being done, and to defer it, I think I don't want to roll that into a bond. I'd rather pay it out of the TIF. I don't know what other people's thoughts, but I mean, it's services that are being done to prepare for it. So I would just like to see it paid. Just my opinion.
Any other comments from commissioners? Skylar?
I mean, I don't have a comment. I would just say it's really the pleasure of this commission. I mean, we have a few more months to go and some negotiations to do. We will have our commitment by the 31st, as we've agreed to with NICD. But after that, we do have a few more months to go. So it's up to, it's kind of your pleasure. I think you just need to instruct me what to do, or me and Alan what to do, how to handle it.
Well, there's a motion on the table with the second, unless somebody wants to change it.
No, I have first and a second. I would do a roll call at this point. Angie Nelson Deutsch,
Aye.
Kathy Dennis,
Aye.
John Hendricks,
Aye.
Ken Barrett.
Aye.
Chair is aye. Motion passes. I think kind of moving forward, we should, Skylar, if we could maybe just detail out those costs so that we have those, as we move forward, just so we're keeping track. And if we get to the point where we think that we need to throw it into the bond, that's fine.
I don't disagree with that one bit.
His invoices always do break out each project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess what I want to make sure is that we're doing is that some of the soft costs moving forward is okay. When we get to the nitty gritty of getting the detail done at the end, we should maybe throw it into the bond.
I can assure you that we do use him very sparingly. We try to only fold him in when it's absolutely like, okay, it's time to fold out. It's time to fold him into this, because he needs to be aware of this as he's writing a contract.
Do we have an estimate what they might be?
Yeah, there's an hourly rate that we have with him.
Right.
So I would say that we don't have a number. I mean, it's, I think based upon the fact that we're working hard and fast to make sure that we get the contract complete. I think once the contract is complete, we should be sparingly using Adam and his firm. But I think until we get to that point, we have to utilize them.
Yeah, well, another point of view is looking at our cash situation. We need to take that into consideration, considering all the other projects we have going on. It might be beneficial to roll it into.
Yeah. So Alan, could we go back? Ken, very good point. So Alan, could we go back after the fact and allocate dollars that we've already paid to throw into the bond?
I don't think so.
Okay. So point of reference. Okay.
The point of having conversation with Adam
Yeah.
was just in the event we do bond, are you okay if we defer this or not make a decision on this until we make a decision on the bonding so that we could roll it in there, knowing that that was an option? He said, I'm fine with that. But on the other hand, that if we approve this claim tonight as is, and he will gladly take the money come when he gets the check. So
I have a question.
Commissioner.
Yes. So all I was saying is we had already went down the path before Attorney Saranac had mentioned that, but moving forward, if we want to defer it, we can. That's just one claim. But moving forward, if we can have that broken out,
Yes.
then we can make the decision before we have a motion on the floor, is all I'm saying. Moving forward, we
Yes.
can defer it.
Yep.
It was just for tonight, since we already went down that path after the fact, is the only reason. But I mean, I'm okay with deferring it. It was just moving forward. Now that we've had the conversation, we can do that.
So, and Adam is, and his firm understands. They've been down this path many times. So I'm in agreement that we pay them tonight with the next round of payments, and then we can address this next month. So.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. I just needed some direction of where you guys, I just need to know where you're at with, because there are a lot of moving parts to this, and we're moving very fast with respect to the transit block. We're moving very fast, and because we need to move fast. We have to.
You better. Okay. Next on the agenda, we're going to go to the financial report.
This is Michigan City Department of Redevelopment balance sheet for as of 1/31/2022. Our cash and our operating account, we have $229,140.46. In our south side TIF account, we have $8,652,627.30. In the south side TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,001.43. And our south side TIF capital account, we have $16,866.23. And our north end TIF account, we have $3,949,455.44. Did I totally read it wrong? $3,989,455.44. Correct that time. In our northeast TIF account, we have $261,743.60. In our loans receivable, we have a loan to the east side TIF from operating account $21,028.49. County business loan fund for $133,333.00 for a total assets of $13,640,195.95. I apologize. It's been a long day.
Skylar has been working very, very hard, so we can give him a pass. So I would ask for an approval of the financial report, January 31, 2022.
So I move for approval of the January 31st financial report.
I second that.
Having a first and a second, I'll go through the roll call. Council or Commissioner Deutsch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
And chair is aye. The motion passes. So we're going to do a quick adjustment here, but Skylar, we're going to go to number 11 just very quickly. Your beautiful site update.
Yes, so we're going to move, so for our site update, we're going to move that to, we're moving it up on the agenda. Okay. Our update tonight is before us. We have an agreement before us tonight. We have finished negotiating that agreement. We have one insertion to be made to that agreement that we've already, all parties have agreed to. So I think before you tonight is approval of the redevelopment agreement. And we do have representation tonight. We have Barry Shane is on the call with us tonight. Alan, can you, anything else I'm forgetting about this? You may recall this has been talked about before publicly. We came before this committee or this redevelopment commission. It's been a while before COVID even. So
Yeah, I think the original concept was presented to the commission. Barry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like June of 2019, a year before COVID, and we started doing some preliminary work, a lot of negotiations going back and forth. COVID hit, and we continued to have negotiations, but there were several things that were problematic, I think, from Michigan City's viewpoint that we've addressed over the better part of 2 years. And I'm happy to say with as recently as a conversation with Barry, Schuyler, and myself, while I was on I-94 and never cursed once last Thursday. And we got to the point of where I think we're in agreement with everything. So over in your packets, there was the development agreement for the You Are Beautiful site, which is everything within its final version that we had sent to Barry and his group, the You Are Beautiful Development Partners, with one change. And I'll just read that into the record now, and this will be included within the language, but I talked about this with Barry earlier today, and he's in agreement. Section 3 under closing, the language shall be amended in that section to include, subject to the terms and conditions of the agreement with closing shall occur on or before September 1st, 2022, with the closing date and the location of closing to be established mutually by developer and commission. Developer shall ensure the bond proceeds are available for funding at closing. Notwithstanding any of the provision of this agreement, developer shall have 90 days from the effective date to determine its eligibility for an award of certain tax credits, including redevelopment tax credit from the state of Indiana, to support the development of the project. If the developer is unable to submit evidence of the award of the development tax credit from the state of Indiana, the amount of less than $7 million, or B, available equity in similar amount either to the city or the developer, may terminate this agreement without further obligation. So basically what that says in a nutshell, in summary, is the fact that we are, in the worst case scenario, we are keeping this market, or by execution of this agreement, your approval tonight, and then we would get Barry and his group's agreement, I think when they're in town later on this week, that 90 days from execution, they will continue to do due diligence and shall explore the issue of economic tax credits or any other tax credits that may be available to the state of Indiana. And we will keep this property off the market for 90 days. Assuming they get, so the worst case scenario is this property is off the market 90 days and we have no agreement, we have no project. Looking at this from a positive viewpoint, by executing this agreement, from Barry's viewpoint, it gives him then the ability to go to his funders and the rest of his team to begin developing architectural drawings as to what this final project will look like from their perspective, and that the contract then calls for us to review periodically throughout the time. But with the most, I guess, happy news from our perspective, from the city's perspective, is that all goes well. They're looking at breaking ground then in September of this year. I would also be remiss if I didn't say that there were a lot of conversations with Barry and his group, a lot of expectations and demands being put forth by the Redevelopment Commission, ultimately getting us to this point. And I want to say that certainly commend Barry and his group for working with us on that, for agreeing with us on certain things that we just had to have, and And we've gotten to the point of where I think we have the framework for an outstanding agreement, an outstanding project that will come to fruition. And I think we'll all be very, very happy in 90 days and then going forward. But clearly credit to Barry and his group for working with us on that.
Yeah, so I would throw it to Barry at this point for commentary.
I agree with Alan, and I appreciate all the work that Michigan City, Alan and Skylar, and everyone who came to look at our proposed hotel. And hopefully in the next 90 days, we will finalize our hotel agreement, finalize all the incentives, and have drawings and be ready to break ground this year, which is what we're looking forward to doing.
Skylar.
Any questions? I'm happy to take any questions, but very much looking to get going on this project.
Yeah, so I would ask at this point, any questions or comments from the commission? Skylar.
I don't have any, I don't have any comments. I would just say we've worked really hard on this. It's taken a long time to get to this point. I really appreciate Barry and his just being persistent and we being persistent. It's a great project, and I really hope we can break ground in September. That's really, I got my fingers crossed for that groundbreaking. And I'm just ready to move forward. So this agreement allows us to move forward, allows his team to move forward, and gives them the surety they need to spend some money to do drawings of geotechnical work, engineering, et cetera, things of that nature. So this is a mechanism to do that. And also protect us as the city.
So Barry, I would the folks of Michigan City, this has been a long road, and I'm very proud of the team. And it's not been a 6-month project. It's been a couple of years. We've worked very hard. I feel like that where we are today, and hopefully on Friday when we ink the deal with the mayor and Barry and his team, this is a groundbreaking event for the city and monumental. So I keep going back to Skylar and his team and what they've done, and they've done a great job with all of us and the folks in the past that have really worked hard to get us where we are. So Barry, thank you. We look forward to seeing you Friday at the State of the City.
And it's been a two-way streak. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Didn't mean that. You guys, it's putting a lot of time in has made us understand each other better. And I think in the end, it's going to lead to a better project and a better timeline for everything going forward.
Well, certainly relationship is a key to the world and a key to how we can move forward as communities. So Barry, we appreciate that. Look forward to having you here Friday and with your team. So I would ask at this point, and Chris, thank you for letting us move this forward for Barry, but any questions or comments from the commission? So what I would ask at this point, because we would like to complete this transaction on Friday, I would look for an approval to complete the transaction with the You Are Beautiful site with Barry Shane and his team.
I move to approve the agreement with the addendum as presented by our attorney.
I second that.
Go through the roll call. Thank you. Commissioner Deutsch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis. Aye. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
And the chair is aye. So I would like to proudly say your beautiful site has been approved. Barry, congratulations. We look for good stuff moving forward.
Look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Barry.
Have a great night.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So moving forward, we'll go to the request for Riverfront liquor license, 521 Franklin Street. Go to Chris,
Yeah,
Mr. Willoughby, Attorney Willoughby.
Attorney Willoughby will be representing himself tonight. We have met in committee and reviewed this this proposal, but I'm going to leave it up to Chris to kind of present it in the manner that he does.
Well, I've reached the age that I can't go anywhere without readers, and I appreciate I'm going to not be here in my attorney hat, but I don't think I can separate that. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Congratulations on this project. Those that know me well, I'm born and raised here, and I'm all things for the city and the moving city forward. So congratulations first and foremost on that.
Thanks, Chris.
Leading to that, it makes me excited. Maybe it's dumb luck of what we propose to be here before you. We joke. I'm also one of the owners of Creekside Bar and Grill, which was formerly the Sand Trap. And 3 years ago, as of this past May 8th, we joke that a builder, an electrician, and attorney walk into a bar, and here we are 3 years later. And our motto was we might not know what we're doing then, but we knew what we liked and didn't like, and that has worked for us.
Sure.
Maybe some of my partners forget, but as soon as that one was off the ground, I said, I'm ready for our next one. And this spot that we propose at 521 Franklin Street has been in the sites, and we've put it out there. We've discussed if it ever became available, and as luck has it, became available. And those that are from here and aware, I mean, it's been home to some of the historic and favorite places in town. Maxine and Heine's, Basil's, Maxine's, and most recently Tavern and Tonelli. We intend, and keeping in mind the ordinance that allows the privilege of having a riverfront license is, we're shooting for. And I've given the summary to the committee. I don't know if they've passed that along, but we intend to have fine dining restaurant that is very much the ambiance that exists now, and that the city and those from Northwest Indiana in general have come to enjoy. We will have an outdoor patio. We have long-term lease negotiated with the current owner of the building, so we won't own that, but our commitment was important for us both ways. So we have a series of 5-year leases. We're also negotiating leases with the owner, as I've learned these pieces that go together for the terrace that are outside, and we're wrapping up those things. We intend to have a staff of at least 20. We're conducting interviews. We have a great relationship with the owner, and some of our synergies already are coming into play in terms of helping making improvements and helping her with improvements to the exterior and interior in general that'll continue to help with the redevelopment and improvements downtown. We come with a lot of experience in many different facets. Like I said, we have a builder, we have an electrician, we have an attorney, and then we added a little spice with somebody who has a lot of experience in food in terms of procurement. And as luck has it, she's run Creekside for a few years, as well as some other endeavors. And, we're really excited about the opportunities. And so, in that time, we've built relationships with our vendors and various staff and those in the industry. So we're really off and going, and this is the last part, but we had no choice to move and roll the dice to see, and even foregoing a license. And that's an important facet here. And I want to make sure, because that's one of the restrictions, is not having a license, owning a license within 2 years of applying for one of these. And to be clear, the license that used to be owned and was attached to that property was sold in 2018. And the current owner is taking that license, or that's part of a contract that's elsewhere. It has nothing to do with this spot. We believe we comply. We've addressed this at the committee level too, and open up to questions. And otherwise, I won't hash too much, but we respectfully ask that you approve our request so that we may perhaps seek or which would empower the mayor to provide us with the authorization that we need to finish our application with the ATC downstate.
Chris, can you talk about timeline of getting, I guess, in general, getting open? I know that we talked about that, but just you don't have to be like, we're going to open on the first, but can you
Well,
talk
sure.
about just kind of what that looks like? Is it a 6-month program, or is it a year? What's your?
We're way more industrious than
I'm not
that.
going to hold you to it, but
You can hold us to it, because I learned with the first one, it certainly never is you plan. If I have my way, it'll be May. June is what's hopeful. If we start to approach July, I'll be disappointed, but I know how things go and how things can be in terms of getting vendors, but we're sooner than later, and we certainly want to take advantage of the season. And I think we're going to be in a position to do that. It's pretty much turnkey now. I mean, there are some things that we need to do inside, but we're prepared, and we're, like I said, we're meeting with staff, discussing, getting our vendors straightened out and getting things that we need, Wi-Fi and phones, and those are already in the pipeline. So we are well ahead of the game in terms of being able to move forward. And one of our longest processes will actually be the ATC.
That was my point. Just kind of letting people know that it's not a year long. It's not a speculatively granting this liquor license. It really is a granting it with the expectation of you want to be open for the summer. So
we intend to be open, and just again for your. I do these in my practice, and 90 to 120 days is what they normally say for the process. And we're certainly going to push and have everything in line that we can be on the front end versus the back of that.
Chris, if I can just ask you 2 questions. One is if you could tell what the hours of operation will be, and by that just hours and days and weeks and months. And then the second thing is, why is the 3-way liquor license important to the success of the business?
For us, the hours, we do not intend to be closed any days of the week. So we'll be open 7 days a week. We want to take advantage of the days that others aren't. And we also want to make that commitment to our staff. And we take that pretty serious in all of our collective individual businesses and our other restaurant endeavor, restaurant bar. One nuance that will be a little bit different, and something that was very clear, that we made clear at the committee level, this isn't a bar, this is a fine dining. And with that, we need to be able to offer the beverages that go along with it. However, our hours, so we'll have fine wines, we will have cocktails that go along with dinner. We will have a banquet room, we will host parties and events and take advantage of the synergies that are around town. Hours wise, we'll be open for lunch every day. So at probably around 11 o'clock is what's slated. Again, it's not a bar. We won't be open, and we're certainly mindful not only of the building owners and the other businesses, but I would imagine that after the dinner hour, if we were open later than 11, I'd be very surprised. I mean, 10 o'clock is what shapes up, and our current endeavor isn't a late or an all-night place either. So really, it's keeping in line with what's there, and maybe the late dinner crowd and whoever might come in for a cocktail after that. But we don't envision anything very late.
Chris, you will allow children, right?
We do. We will have family dining, and we're actually as part of our floor plan making sure that both entrances are accessible as well. And that's a very good point. We did discuss that at committee, and I know that's one of the within your ordinance, something that's very important, and something very important to us. Being a parent, it's very tough to go places, and especially nice places, when you can't. And in the summers, part of our market is embracing those who come visit us, right? And that by definition includes families. So,
can you clear up, kind of just go into a little bit more detail for the public about the 2018 license? You kind of hit that quick so that people understand
Sure.
that it's.
Sure. There was a
there's-
license that was owned by Mr. Hula. And that was already, that was always attached to that property in the previous restaurants, and that was sold to the most immediate business owner that was in there. That's a traditional license. As part of our deal, that is not, we bought assets. And so that we're clear there, we bought the assets that would allow us to be turnkey. We did take a risk there of assuming that we might be able to impress you enough to be worthy of one of the riverfront licenses, but we did not buy that license, and we are not. So that license is going from the previous owner to a subsequent buyer, and we believe that's what makes us eligible for this one. And even if, and I don't believe this is applicable, but I'm not your attorney, even if the question were to come that the previous owner of the building, let's say that a license, which is different than these riverboat, our riverfront license is attached to that building. It was sold in 2018 from, let's call it 521, in that ownership to the owner of a business. So it doesn't attach there. And again, I want to reiterate our commitment here in making that decision is, we asked ourselves, is that an asset we want to pursue? Do we want to buy it? Do we want to own that? And the simple answer for us is, if we wanted to open this business anywhere else in the city, where would we want to be? And the answer is nowhere. It's right here. So, we recognize that other than the privilege, that which is a great value, we recognize that's not an asset we can take anywhere with us, transfer anywhere else. Which is all the benefit, right? It also pulls us into this downtown, and we believe accomplish what you're trying to under the ordinance.
And one last thing. So as far as, did you say turnkey already? What type of investment are you making for this? Because that's important. And then what is the recommendation from the committee that reviewed it? Would be my second thing.
So we should take those as two different questions.
Yeah.
One should
First
be
one for him.
to
and
Mr.
the
Willoughby,
for
second
you.
one for the commission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
All told,
So let me just,
Well, let me clarify it, because when I initially proposed the riverfront license along with Rich Murphy, and we talked about investment, and we talked about different things and the importance. So staffing is one thing, but just the investment piece is the second, because that's important, that people who, there might be some businesses that could, gripe about it, but I think it's an important tool for us to develop the North End.
so are you looking for, just to clarify, are you looking for a dollar amount?
Yeah, approximately, yeah.
So I would give us a range.
yeah, I certainly can do that, and hesitant in terms of, but it's important, and I agree, and I can speak from the number of calls when this was proposed, right, in my day job. I also own one of those traditional licenses for a different business, and I certainly understand those arguments for and against. The difference is we gave up a lot to pursue one of these. Our overall investment and what we're prepared with our group is approximately $250,000. I will not stand and say all of that is going to have to be spent or be put into that, but it will. It's not only the furniture and the inventory and training staff and finding a way to pay staff when you're not operational and train them and be able to withstand and sustain, but it's also upgrading. We're also working very close. We've negotiated a right of first refusal for the building because do I think she's going to sell it anytime soon? I don't, and I can't speak for her, but we wanted to put ourselves in a position to be here. We're also working with her to improve and things that weren't done over the years. And that is also spearheaded for anybody who's had an opportunity to see permits that she's pulling, that, the roof is being looked at and fixed, and all of those improvements are being spearheaded by us being in there, and we already have a great partnership. So
That's good. No, thank you. I appreciate that. And the second question from the committee?
Yes. So I go to the committee. Yeah.
Yes, we
Mayor.
met with Chris the other day, and Basically-
Chris Willoughby. Make sure
Yeah.
Chris Willoughby, not Chris Chatfield.
Mr. Willoughby. And basically, he answered the questions that had been presented to him by the board here, by the panel. And we think it's a great idea to continue a longstanding institution, although it's under a different motive and a different name. But we all know what an anchor that is downtown. It's
Yep.
important to keep it.
I was the other person in the committee, and I would agree that Chris Willoughby answered all of our questions. He has a plan. He already runs a business that provides food and beverages, and I think he has the knowledge and the skills both within himself and his team that I think he deserves to have us approve his request for a license.
Thank you. I'll make one more comment. Chris, you've done with Creekside, done a great job. And I know that was one of our early on projects in the last number of years. And you've shown that, what you said initially was what you did, and stand-up community person, and have done a very nice job. So all that being said, well, he's already standing up.
Technically, I am standing.
He's
so
already
you're right.
standing up, yeah.
I move that we approve the request for the Riverfront liquor license for 521 Franklin Street.
I'll second the
Do we have a
motion.
second? We have first and a second. I would go through the roll call. Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis, Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Exciting things for the town. So
We're
we
looking forward
appreciate
to it. And so what I would say is that my last parting shot or parting comment, not shot, comment here is that we take very seriously these liquor licenses, and it's competitively, we need to understand that as people in Michigan City, that there are lots of good things going on, that this is not against any other competing entity, that this is for the overall good of the community, and that having more people downtown and around town visiting our establishments is beneficial. And for any establishment to think this is detrimental is the wrong view. And I will take that to the bank every day of the week. And that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a banker, but I will tell you that having more competition makes us all better at the end of the day. So
We appreciate that, and anybody else who knows us, and especially during COVID, and we're quite proud that we actually thrived and we did what we think things are the right way. But we've heard about other places interested across the street next door, and we've said to a person, we welcome that. It's not,
that's our opportunity.
we welcome competition because it keeps you on your toes, but two, it's more important. Much like we started off with the meeting, it's exciting for the city and all the things that are going on. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willoughby. Or Chris.
Yes.
Number 7.
Yeah, so tonight we have a facade reimbursement request. This is for 401 Chicago Street. I was just chatting with Aaron that I like the addition of the Sanborn fire insurance map, because this is a little bit kind of out of the ordinary for a request. Typically we see them downtown, but I think it's interesting to remind ourselves that there were these little nodes in our city that are just as important, and keeping buildings that reinforce those kind of neighborhood centers or nodes is really important. And this is an example of one that we've granted that does that. So
Good evening, Aaron Moore here, Assistant Planning Director. So this is a facade grant request, and just to add to what Skylar mentioned, I worked here previously back in 2018, working on the comprehensive plan. This is one of the properties that I surveyed as part of the comprehensive plan for neighborhood commercial buildings. So it reflects the, not just in the historic district, but outside the historic district where we had commercial development, that would serve the community. And also this was particularly the Western Hotel at one point, and now it's other uses. So this is just for a reimbursement request. So the work has been completed. The total project cost was about $91,000. The eligible cost was a little over $48,000. And the reimbursement that was pre-approved is $29,220, which is 60% of the eligible cost. Part of the work was just reconstructing a section of the exterior brick wall and adding new windows, which our photos were included in your packet. So the funds were originally allocated on September 13, 2021, and staff is just recommending approval of the final allocation of funds for David Wilson to create the claim for.
Yeah, nice project. Any questions for Aaron? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion for the facade grant for 401 Chicago Street, which is 401 Shy LLC.
Move for approval.
A second.
Having a first and a second, I'd ask for a roll call. Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis, Commissioner Hendricks,
Aye.
Commissioner Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. The motion passes. Aaron, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great night.
You're all night.
Next on the agenda, approval of global engineering proposal for the annual NDOT inspection of I-94 421 overpass.
So I have it on here for approval, but I wanted to kind of have a discussion with Alan about it. We think this was part of the question was asked, should this continue to be done by us? And I do believe that it was part of an agreement with the we made some betterments. We made betterments there. They were going to rebuild the interchange or the overpass, and we did betterments. And I believe this was part of a yearly basically monitoring of those betterments, if you will. Alan, anything to expand on that one?
So the only thing I can tell you, this project predates me. I can tell you that in past years, when the commission has approved this, is that this is a requirement by NDOT, and it is something that the Redevelopment Commission has annually paid. And the way it was presented in prior meetings, I believe, was to the fact that this is, you're exactly right, Scott, this is something that we had committed to when we recommended or when we sought NDOT's approval for the betterments that we made. And that, again, I think from talking with Shem, who was the engineer for that project, Shem Khalil, that this was part of the overall agreement with NDOT that we would continue to conduct annual inspections to ensure the safety, not only of the betterments, but the overall project itself. But that's about all I know. So.
Yeah, is this an expense that the city should be taking care of?
It's a question. Yeah. That's kind of where why I kind of bring it up tonight. I don't know that I have the answer for you tonight. Is why I'm
Right. Well,
getting
it seems
at.
like a maintenance issue to me.
It's good. It's a good.
I would make a motion that we table it until we can get that answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So having a table motion from Commissioner Hendricks and a second from Commissioner Deutsch, I'd go through roll call. Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks,
Aye.
Commissioner Parent,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. So we'll table this. We'll let Skylar go back and work through the details. Last comment from the chair would be that the city did spend, or the redevelopment commission did spend quite a bit of money over the last number of years, not only spending the money to do the work, but obtaining this or maintaining it over the years. So this should probably, at this point, convey over to the city. So we'll work through those details and bring it back in the next meeting or two.
Absolutely. I just need to do a little bit of research. Just haven't had time to do that, but it's a good question to get to.
Very good. Station block update, Skylar.
Yes, I'll just give us a quick synopsis of where we're at. We are still on track to have an executed agreement with Flaherty and Collins, who is our selected developer, by March 31st. I'm hoping that it'll be before March 31st, but we are still slated to have that in place, which was part of the agreement with NICTE that we have in our joint development agreement. We're still on track with that, and just say that we're moving at a pace that is very quick, and a lot of moving parts, and a lot of my days are consumed with that. So just kind of negotiation. So other than that, that's all I can tell you right now. But just stay posted. We will probably have to have a special meeting in March yet, and I probably will have Debbie poll probably for the next couple of weeks. Maybe the next week to see where everybody is, to see what day works. And then that way I can kind of give that back to Attorney Collins and really kind of give him kind of a deadline, if you will, to work toward. And that way, so it's not just open-ended. So I don't want to get to the 31st and try to get an approval on the 31st. That kind of scares me a little bit.
No, we'll get it situated very quickly. So South Side or South TIF connectivity project. Ryan, you're on the phone. Can we have a quick update, please?
Good evening, commissioners. I hope you can hear me and see me well.
You're good. Thank you.
Okay. I'll give you a brief update here on the project. To start out, the CC1 project is still on schedule per what we put forth in our second amendment to our professional services agreement for advertising that project for construction in spring of 2022. We are very nearly to the point where we can present to Aaron, as well as other interested members of this commission, preliminary alignments and layouts and plans for the CC1 project. We would be sending that soon and probably following that up with a meeting with you to just kind of review the proposed alignments and the plans, details such as sidewalk widths, things of that nature. Just make sure that you're on board with it all and hopefully to garner your approval. And then after which we would move forward with a detailed design, and get into those details and develop the construction documents necessary to let the project for bidding. We have, so that's an update on construction contract number one. We have also been in coordination with DLZ, who's working for you guys to coordinate the land conveyancing and securing of land rights and so forth for this project, but also the broader South TIF connectivity improvements project. And they've been providing us with the access authorizations from the various landowners in a kind of a steady fashion now recently. So we don't have everything that we need yet, certainly, but we're getting closer to the point where we can finish up the geotechnical investigations necessary for this work. And they've been very helpful in getting us that information, and we look forward to receiving more of it soon. I think that's probably all I need to go into at this point, but I can answer any questions that you may have.
Any, Ryan, thank you very much. There's a good update. Any questions from the commissioners?
Will we get a report from DLZ as to where they are as far as the land acquisition and easements?
So you could,
I'm sorry, I don't know if that question was addressed to me or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Ryan. Yes.
I'm not sure about the about DLZ's status updates to the RDC.
yeah, so we have to, maybe there's a little misunderstanding. Ryan, I'm going to try to clarify. We should probably get DLZ in here. Actually, we're direct contracting with DLZ. They're not a sub to Haas. They're doing two kind of separate contracts, but codependent on each other, kind of to some extent. They had this specialty with surveying and the legal aspect of their engineering firm. So we will get them in here and get them to, I'll talk to Mike and get Mike Duffy and see if we can get them in here and give us an update of where they're at.
Thank you.
Ryan, if I misrepresented that, I'm pretty sure I got it correct, but I was just going to say the CC1 that Ryan is, just for clarification to the public, is really those, you might recall we talked about kind of low hanging fruit that we could kind of knock out quickly and get some things improved. That would be the sidewalk improvements, getting an intersection that we can signalize for pedestrian connectivity across 421, which I believe is really important, but really start working on those things to try to make some safety improvements in the South TIF area. So that's what he's referring to. And we approved those in an additional scope. Ryan, was that last meeting or 2 meetings ago? I completely forget now.
Can't recall.
No, I can't recall. So, but we did approve that scope, and then they're going to basically take us through getting it bid out and hopefully getting it constructed.
I can add, just for Mr. Variant, your benefit, DLZ has been providing they've been reaching out to the various landowners, and through that process have been receiving the access authorizations so that we can go out there and do wetland investigation, surveying, topographic surveying, geotechnical surveying. So that's been ongoing. They've also done the professional land surveying work necessary to establish where the various boundaries are out there that will be fundamental and instrumental in ultimately conveying land or land rights and so forth. But beyond that kind of an update, I can't speak to where they are in that process.
Oh, thank you.
I'll try to
Thanks,
get them.
Ryan.
I'll try to get them in our next meeting here, maybe with Ryan and DLZ here. I think that would probably be helpful to hear. Probably the two put together, make a little bit more sense in my opinion.
Very good. Any additional questions for Ryan with Haas and Associates? All right. Ryan, thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you. Dare I go to number 12, report from legal counsel.
I usually dominate everything through before the
Everything.
meeting. And so I don't have much left when the meeting comes. I just have two things to share with you both. One is to set the record that there was an executive session before this meeting tonight. No items were discussed that were inconsistent with the open door law, and no decisions were made on anything. The second thing is just to update you, as well as provide a segue for next meeting, that tomorrow night, Randy Rampola and I will be before the city council with regards to the East TIF expansion project that we talked about, I think originally in March. I'm sorry, in January, and then presented to the Planning Commission in February. We'll be before the City Council tomorrow night, and hopefully they will approve. On March 28th, Baker Tilly should be completing their tax impact study as to the proposed expansion of the existing area. And then Randy will be back here for the public hearing on the declaratory resolution, as well as confirmation at our meeting on April 11th. And that should be completed at that time. And that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Skylar, Board Director.
I don't have too many things tonight. I would just clarify that I spoke about the station block earlier, and that 31st deadline really is what's imposed by our agreement with the rail with NICD. It also is dictated a little bit by the FTA, the Federal Transit Authority, as well. We need to be moving forward in a timely manner to get things wrapped up. So I just want to clarify what that 31st, why we're working toward that 31st deadline and why it's important. And then one more thing I just wanted to add. It came to me kind of last minute, but I do have a request to put a temporary sign for April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and they would like, you might recall last year they put some little spinner wheels out there with T-shirts on them. You might recall seeing that. You Are a Beautiful site. They wanted to know if they could just put a banner. They're going to do something downtown this year, but they wanted to know if we would allow them just to put a temporary banner there, not on our You Are Beautiful sign. Yeah, it's our property. We would need to, but it'd basically be, stuck in the ground with holes and then just removed. It'd be removed at the end of the month, at the end of April. Sorry.
Sure.
I don't know if it came to me kind of last minute, and I told them I would at least ask, but they're asking at the Board of Works for what they're doing downtown. That will be on next Monday's agenda for them.
So we approved that last year.
We approved them to do it was more decorative. It had like little spinner wheels, and I think it had little T-shirts that represented kids who were abused, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're just wanting a banner. They really want to focus on downtown.
Just a banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, call it.
It's a good idea.
NIPSCO 811. So are you looking for a motion for that, Skylar?
If you,
I think we
Alan,
have to.
should we do it?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I just don't want to say yeah without you guys knowing, and
Do we have a consensus from the board to approve the banner or the?
Yeah, and honestly, it was more of a, we might, if we do decide to do this, can we do it? They may not do it. So, but I told them I would ask.
So we have a consensus from the board, the commission. Okay. So you have that.
Thank you.
Anything
Just diligently working through our various projects that we have going on. Working with the eighth in the Boulevard lot. Met with them today. I went through entitlements for that. That will dictate their design and their architecture. So we went over that. Aaron was very helpful in helping me kind of lead that discussion. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report. Do you have any questions of me? Yeah. Yeah, so Friday, we're looking to execute our agreement with Barry. We are going to be with Barry Shane, with the hotel project, the Your Beautiful project that we approved tonight. I will be working out the details of that kind of signing, if you will, tomorrow with Barry. And I would obviously let the whole commission know where, how that's going to go, how we're going to do that. After hopefully it'll be sometime after the mayor's State of the City address at some point in time that day. I believe they will be in town that day for that address, and we'll go from there. But I will let you guys know. Make sure you're aware of when and where we're going to do that.
Thank you, sir. Any public comment this evening? Any public comment this evening? Okay, hearing none. So my mantra here is, so Tom, you're down on the end. You've been you've been stifled a little bit, but Tom Domkowski, if you could, any commentary?
Really know me in the education business will say, I can't be stifled too much. So I'm not worried about that.
Yes, sir.
Again, it is really great to see everything that's going on. And now you're actually at the station block, you can see that taking place, which I think has provided a lot of public comments, positive comments, where we were getting a lot of negative because nobody could see. And now those things are coming true. Another one now for the We Are Beautiful site. It's just a great time for Michigan City. I really say that because I've been here for a while, a long while, and it's great to see this, and it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Dennis.
Just real quickly, I am a member of the City Art Commission, and we have invited Skylar to come to our next meeting and talk about the possibility we've been looking at, what other cities have done in terms of 1% or 2% or 3% for art. Some communities have used that as for just public buildings, and other communities have used it for private or a combination of both. So we're in the process of looking at the possibility of introducing through the city council some type of resolution that would create that. I think with the things that are going on, as you say, with the exciting things, and hopefully many more things to come, that it would give the city an opportunity of having more money to even create more art within the city that, of course, is good for residents and brings in more tourists and dollars to the community. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Deitch.
And just to piggyback off of that just a little bit, that, in some of the discussions we've had with different developers and some different meetings, art was one of the big topics on how they sourced, local artisans to help and assist in the development of those projects. So I think that will be important since we have the Uptown District. I think it'd be absolutely important. We have a lot on the council agenda tomorrow related to development, with the expansion of the TIF, some annexation items. So a lot going on. Look forward to seeing you there tomorrow, Mr. Saranac. But again, this is just a wonderful time for development and projects that will also not only, bring forth housing and options, but jobs as well. So we just need to be prepared and make sure our citizens are prepared. And I think we're off to a great start. And appreciate everything that you're doing, you and your staff.
Go down to the end. Commissioner Barrett.
It's all been said. Commissioner
Hendricks.
No other comment from me either.
Yeah, I'll just wrap it up. As Commissioner Barron said, it's all been said, but we've made some great strides. We're moving forward. There is, as somebody probably said at one point in time, for us to gain longevity, we have to have pain. There is some pain to have in what we're doing in the community, but the longevity of Michigan City, we have to have that a little bit of pain. We're seeing that right now, that we have got great things going on. Not only what we talked about today and 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and there's more to come. And again, I don't want to tell Skylar, I need to be very careful. The Skylar and his team have worked endlessly with Aaron and the team to do really great things. But when you have other communities in Northwest Indiana calling and asking public officials in Michigan City, what are you doing to attract these developers to Michigan City? That has some bearing on what we're doing and what the team is doing. And I'm very proud of that because I think Skylar and his team have really worked very, very hard to make sure that we have longevity moving forward. And there will be pain, short and midterm, but I think the overall is really very positive. So, so that's the end of my comments. The next meeting of the Redevelopment Commission is April 11th, 2022 at 5 p.m. I would ask for a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.